Hey, I'm Josh, and I sing in Unit 6. British guitar band. I think when we were younger, obviously Blink were one of the bands that we listened to when we were, young teenagers to young adults. But I've also got a big love and a lot of love for sort of classic rock and roll, whether it be, well, not even rock and roll, but the likes of Fleetwood Mac and Jethro Tull, The Police, Genesis. Those are sort of the music that we were brought up on as kids. The Eagles. But then really it's just, we're like sponges. We listen to anything and everything and take it all in. For our mates, well, I guess we've got quite a few because we've been around for a while or a minute even. But whenever we see the boys in the Havana, or Bring the Horizon, or Nothing But Thieves, quite good friends of my friend Ross from the 1985. Parkway Drive. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot about. There's nobody that we're like best mates with, as in bands, because there's just quite a few that we're like good mates with, but we don't really see enough of each other. We're always all on different tours, and there's not really a band that we exclusively tour with a lot. But for example, our next tour we're going out with a band called The Excerpts and a band called Marmosettes, and we love both those bands as musicians and as people, so that would be good. I think they're all different, whether it's, as you said, composing it or recording it or touring it. There's different aspects to enjoy about both. I think the main thing about playing it live is you see what the songs are doing with people and how they react, and you can bounce off their energy and that can sort of curate your perspective of a song. But then there's also, and that's a great adrenaline, that's a great rush, being in the venue and playing on songs and having a song sung back at you, but then also being locked away in the studio with just you and your friends and getting wasted and making music is a lot of fun. And what I've enjoyed quite a lot about the studio is the trust between all the individuals which ultimately come together for the collective cause of making a song. You have to trust that, and we do internally, we all trust each other enough that we all A, care, but B, are capable enough to producing in our own roles within the band. And I think that's bigger than just being a band. It's like, our band's more like a brotherhood. We've been friends for so long, so I see the guys in Unit 6 more than I see the majority of my friends. And to be honest, they are my best friends. I have friends at home, of course, I'm very close with them. I've got one or two that I would consider brothers, but the other 4 guys in Unit 6 are my brothers, they're my best mates. I think the new record is really a culmination of all the different genres and sub-genres of music that we enjoy listening to. Predominantly I really listen to urban hip-hop music. I don't really listen to guitar bands, so I would say that the electronic side and the dance side has come really from Dan, our drummer, who did a lot of creating of music on Logic, using lots of different plugins and stuff like that, and Max as well is brilliant at that. And that made us write differently. So we weren't writing as simply as just being in a room and jamming. It was more like we were writing songs on our laptops and then trying to figure out ways of making them band songs. So, but in regards to, yeah, I guess the record fundamentally is a poppier, quote unquote sounding record, but pop music, its orientation is popular music. So really what we're doing is we're making music which comes under the umbrella of rock music, or in this case pop music, but it's just music that we've been writing. If you look at it this way, we've been writing pop music for the last 10 years, because even our earlier records have very pop inclined melodies and sounding songs. Night People is probably our most classic rock sounding record that we've had, but also probably our most linear sounding record. So. Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be really honest with you, I don't think any artist that is worth anything writes songs caring about whether or not the radio play them. We certainly don't. Our labels do. Labels want songs that can be played on the radio, but you know, Night People was a song that got played on the radio over here. More than it did actually in England, but we've had a lot of radio success in England. We've been very fortunate and lucky in that sense that the likes of Radio 1 in particular, which is a massive radio station in England, supported our band quite passionately actually, and really giving us a good chance. But yeah, of course it's difficult because I guess, you know, radio now even more so is playing songs that are in the what do you call it, like the sort of the top 40 or top 50 global streaming songs or whatever, you know, because radio in theory is in a fight now against more and more about how accessible music is through streaming. So are you going to play a heavy rock song on daytime radio when you could play the most recent Dua Lipa single or Drake single? Probably not, because that's more accessible and more, and also ultimately it's what people are listening to more and more. But yeah, I to be honest, I think songs like Back Again and 3am, yeah, of course they are. They have a popular element to them, but there's nothing pop about Fast Forward or Predictable or Miracle in the Morning. On from the new records. I think new music we've been at our best when we have allowed ourselves to go down the different paths of both rock and pop music at the same time and try to bring them together.
It's an idea of you and of the band?
Yeah, so basically, well, Martin Scorsese is probably one of my favourite directors and producers. So I mean, when I saw that film, what I found interesting about Wolf of Wall Street was Jonah Hill playing the role he played, because I've never seen Jonah Hill act in that way. But yeah, Wolf of Wall Street, the way that inspired us in particular was a scene where the protagonist, Jordan Belfort, is driving to a golf club, and he's just taken a load of drugs, or lewds as they're called, and you know, it's his perception of reality versus his pardon me?
And the clip is a contrast between dream and reality.
Absolutely, yeah. So and that's when we took that idea essentially into 3am, being like, we'll have a split reality, we'll have Act 1 and Act 2. Yeah. The main thing is that I've never really done it before. I've never really acted in our music video. It's always been like, we're the band, we'll be in the performance scene, and then actors will do the acting if there is a narrative in our music video. But with 3am, we wanted for us to be more present within the quote-unquote narrative and the acting part of it. Yeah, it was just fun. It was just, the whole idea of this record is to, from the outset, was to challenge ourselves in lots of different ways, and that music video was certainly a challenge. So I think the album's different because, look, first and foremost, every single musician you ever interview is going to tell you that their new album is their best album because it's the most recent thing they've done. And that is true, at least in that moment in time. But I think this record is definitely my favourite across the board because it's a record which has the spirit of one of our albums called Sinners Never Sleep, in which we made sure that every song on that record felt different and didn't feel like it was the same song times 2 or 3 or 4. And with this record, you know, there's a lot of variation. It's quite versatile, and it's us really just trying to, even more so in this particular time, just to really hone our sound and develop our sound and integrate different subgenres and different things that we enjoy about making music within our music. So yeah.
Just for the last question, nowadays music bands seems less politically engaged compared to the 60s or the 70s.
Yeah.
Are you trying to get some messages across political, social into your lyrics or during life?
Maybe it's quite a narcissistic thing to do, but to write songs about myself and about my personal experiences, because I don't look at the band as a platform to push my political or social agenda onto other people. Perhaps it could be, but that's not really my bag. That's why you've got bands like Rage Against the Machine. We don't need another one of them. I think for me, I use this band as a very sort of therapeutic process of just sort of, a lot of the time in our songs I'm just trying to figure out my own feelings, so I try and stay away from politics, not because I'm not interested, not because I don't care, but because I feel like I want it to be authentic and to be personal, I guess. But when it comes to, you know, we were touring right around the time that Trump got elected to be the President of America. And I think that was the first time in my life, whilst I've been in this band, that I felt inclined to say some things on stage, not necessarily about him, but the context of what he was saying, because I think US politics is very complex, and when you're not playing in America, it doesn't really, if you're playing a gig in Paris, what's going on in the Hill doesn't really matter so much, I guess. But what I did like was his approach to this idea that to be different was strange, or to mock the disabled, or to be against same-sex marriage. We're all born equal and we all die equal, in terms of no life is more important than another life. No one life, sorry, is more important than another life. And I hate the fact that I know, or I can feel, I can sense that young people more and more are impressionable because there's so much pressure on them through social media, but also because, you know, we now live in a time where you don't just get bullied at school anymore, you get bullied on the internet 24/7 if you are being bullied. And I think that when somebody like the President of America, who's quite clearly been outed for, you know, pretty heinous remarks about the disabled and women and devaluing and degrading them, and when you have a fan base in which there are, you know, quite a lot of young females in it, it's just trying to remind them that, you know, that especially in our show, and I think we're all quite like-minded people that come to uni at 6 Good. We all seem to be quite like-minded and all have the same, similar sort of love of life and love for others. I think it's important to remind each other that, you know, don't let someone like him or people like him, moreover, dictate the way you live your life or the way you feel about your life. So it's not very political, I guess it's more of a cultural thing, but it just happens that the target is the President of the United States. So.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
No worries, dude. Thanks for your time.
Thank
Cheers, man.